Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that may seem counterintuitive at first glance, but holds immense power in achieving success. It's a concept that challenges the conventional wisdom about self-promotion and the way we present ourselves. The title of today's talk is simple: never tell people what you do. Now, when you hear that, you might think, isn't it important to tell others what we do? After all, how else will people know how we can help them or what value we can bring? Yes, that's a reasonable question, and you're right. People need to know what we do, but it's not always the first thing you should tell them. In fact, sometimes keeping that information to yourself can be more powerful than you realize. In a world obsessed with self-promotion and networking, we often find ourselves rushing to answer the question, so what do you do? And while there's nothing wrong with that, we should always remember what you do is not who you are. It's just a small piece of the bigger picture. When you make your identity all about what you do, you lose the opportunity to truly connect with others on a deeper level. Your worth is not defined by your title or your occupation. By withholding the answer to what do you do, you create space for curiosity and intrigue. Instead of merely being known for your job, you're opening the door for people to see the true depth of who you are. But let's take this one step further. Never telling people what you do also has a practical benefit. It gives you the freedom to evolve without the constraints of expectation. People often see you through the lens of your job or title. When that job changes, or when you step into a new role, their perception of you may not shift as easily. Keeping your actions and your mission behind the curtain allows you to evolve without being boxed into someone else's assumptions. Your work is just a part of who you are, not the full story. People are more than their careers, and so are you. Don't reduce yourself to a job title. Let your actions, values, and principles define you, not just your profession. When you withhold the specifics of what you do, you become more intriguing. Curiosity is powerful. People are naturally drawn to mystery and they'll want to know more. Let your impact and your character speak for you, not your business card. You don't need to tell people what you do when your results are evident. If you're making a difference, people will see it through your actions. Focus on creating value, and the right people will notice without you having to announce it. When you tell people what you do, they immediately form expectations based on that. By keeping it to yourself, you free yourself from those constraints. You can evolve, experiment, and change course without the burden of what others think you're supposed to do. When you tell people what you do up front, the conversation often becomes transactional. How can I help you? But by holding back, you focus on building genuine relationships, not just business transactions. People will value you for who you are, not just for what you can offer. The true measure of your value is not the title on your door. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you handle challenges, and the way you treat others. Never let your worth be reduced to a paycheck or position. Surprise is a powerful tool in life. If you're always talking about your job, people begin to expect things from you, and you limit the potential for unexpected opportunities. Keep your skills and ambitions under wraps, and allow them to unfold naturally when the time is right. Don't let your profession define your entire narrative. Your story is filled with experiences, dreams, and lessons that go far beyond the career you hold today. The key to success is in recognizing that your journey is far more than just the title on your business card. When it comes to success, many people make the mistake of tying their entire sense of worth to what they do for a living. But let me tell you, your identity is so much more than your job. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that your career defines you. After all, when you meet someone for the first time, what's one of the first questions they ask? What do you do? But think about it. What if your work was just a small piece of the puzzle? You see, your job is only one part of your life. It doesn't capture your entire essence, your passions, or the things that truly make you unique. You're a person with dreams, values, talents, and experiences that go beyond the 9 to 5. The danger comes when we allow ourselves to be defined by our occupation. When you attach your identity too closely to your job, you end up limiting yourself. The truth is, you can have a fulfilling career and still have a rich, complex identity outside of work. Consider the people who have made lasting impact, not just in their professions, but in their communities, families, and lives. They didn't define themselves by their job title, and they didn't let the role they held at any given moment limit what they could achieve. Your identity is defined by how you show up in the world, how you treat others, and what you contribute. It's found in your attitude, your resilience, and your ability to keep growing and evolving. It's in the values you uphold and the relationships you build. When you start to think of yourself as more than just your job, you free yourself from the limitations others might place on you. You open up the potential for reinvention, growth, and opportunity. You're not trapped by the position you hold today because you know your true worth lies in your character, your principles, and your ability to impact the world around you. So when you meet someone and they ask, "What do you do?" don't feel pressured to answer with a job title that limits you. Instead, let them see the person you are, the one who's always learning, always striving, always contributing. Let them see the full picture of who you are, not just the narrow view of what you do for a paycheck. In a world where everyone is quick to define and label, there's immense power in creating intrigue rather than offering up a label for yourself. When you meet someone and immediately tell them what you do, you're essentially giving them a box to put you in. You're handing them a label that makes it easier for them to categorize you, to box you into something simple and easy to understand. But what if, instead of defining yourself by a title or job description, you left them wanting more? Think about the people who are truly magnetic, the ones who captivate your attention, who you can't help but want to learn more about. They don't reveal everything about themselves right away. They create a sense of curiosity. They allow their actions, their demeanor, and their values to speak louder than any job title ever could. This is what creates lasting relationships and leaves an impression that goes beyond a business card. When you share only a small piece of who you are, you invite others to discover the bigger picture. You spark curiosity, and curiosity is the foundation of connection. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with sharing what you do when the time is right. But when you reveal everything up front, you remove the mystery. You take away the opportunity for others to be genuinely interested in your journey. People don't connect with labels, they connect with stories. And your story is far more interesting than any title could ever be. When you let people in piece by piece, you allow them to get to know the real you, the person behind the title. It's the person who's passionate, who's been through challenges, who's learned valuable lessons. This is what makes you truly memorable. So instead of giving away your title in the first conversation, let them discover who you are by how you show up, how you engage with them, and how you share your experiences. Creating intrigue is about building a deeper connection, not just a surface-level interaction. It's about leaving something for others to explore, rather than offering everything on a silver platter. When you make people curious, they start asking questions, and that's when the real conversations happen. When they want to know more about you, they're more likely to listen, engage, and build a meaningful connection. And in that space, you open doors to opportunities that go far beyond what your job could ever unlock. So instead of rushing to label yourself, allow others to see the depth of who you are. Create the space for curiosity to grow, and you'll find that the relationships you build will be stronger, more authentic, and much more impactful than any simple label could provide. One of the greatest principles in life is that actions always speak louder than words. You can tell someone what you do, you can boast about your successes, and you can explain your skills, but at the end of the day, it's the results you deliver that truly matter. When you focus on letting your results speak for themselves, you free yourself from the need to constantly prove your worth. Instead, your work does the talking for you. Think about the people who inspire you the most. They didn't get where they are by constantly talking about their plans or promoting themselves at every turn. No, they let their achievements, their progress, and their contributions tell the story. And that's the real secret to success. Focus on producing results that matter, and the recognition and respect will follow. The world doesn't need you to be your own loudest cheerleader. It's much more powerful when others look at your work and say, "Wow, this person really knows what they're doing." When you pour your energy into creating value, solving problems, and helping others, the results will speak volumes. You don't need to keep saying, "Look at me. Look at what I've done." The impact you make will do that for you. When you rely on your results to speak for you, you also take the pressure off yourself. You don't need to inflate your accomplishments or sell yourself short. Just do the work, deliver what's expected and more, and the results will stand as a testament to your skill, commitment, and integrity. People will begin to associate you with excellence, not because you told them, but because they've seen it for themselves. Let's be honest, words can be empty. Anyone can talk a good game. But when it's time to deliver, your results are what will leave a lasting impression. And here's the key: the more you focus on letting your results speak, the more powerful your reputation becomes. Your reputation doesn't rely on what you say about yourself. It relies on what others say about you based on what you've done. And that's what sets you apart. Remember, the most successful people aren't the ones shouting the loudest about their achievements. They're the ones quietly doing the work, solving the problems, and delivering the results. And when the time is right, the world will take notice. Let your results speak for themselves, and you'll find that success, recognition, and opportunities come to you without you ever needing to say a word. One of the greatest traps you can fall into in life is allowing the expectations of others to define your path. People love to place labels on you, create limits, and set boundaries based on what they believe you're capable of. They look at your past, your job, or your circumstances, and they draw conclusions. But here's the truth: your potential is not determined by other people's expectations. When you let others dictate what you can or cannot achieve, you're living according to someone else's vision of your life, not your own. The key to success is recognizing that your future is not confined to the boxes others try to put you in. You are not limited by the perceptions, judgments, or expectations that others place upon you. The moment you realize this, you free yourself from the constraints that hold you back. Think about this: the most successful people in history didn't follow the conventional path or live within the confines of others' expectations. They dared to go beyond what was thought possible. They were told it couldn't be done, that they weren't good enough, or that they'd never succeed. And yet they pushed forward, refusing to be defined by the limitations others placed on them. They knew their potential was limitless. This doesn't mean you should ignore good advice or guidance. What it means is that you shouldn't allow the expectations of others to hold you back from stepping into your full potential. People may tell you that you can't achieve something, but the truth is, the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. Your dreams, your goals, and your ambitions are yours to shape, and only you have the power to determine how far you can go. The greatest freedom you can experience is the freedom to fail and to succeed on your own terms. When you are no longer bound by others' expectations, you begin to make decisions based on what's right for you, not based on what's comfortable for others. You become the author of your own story, and that's when you open the door to extraordinary possibilities. Don't let anyone's perception of you, whether they're family, friends, or colleagues, hold you back. Don't let anyone's expectations limit what you can achieve. Your potential is as vast as you allow it to be. So don't be afraid to break free from the expectations others try to place on you. Let your ambitions be your guiding light, not someone else's idea of who you should be. The path to greatness is not a straight line. It's full of detours, risks, and unexpected turns. But when you refuse to be limited by the expectations of others, you open yourself to the opportunities that lie beyond what anyone else thinks is possible. Keep your eyes on your vision, and never let anyone else's limitations decide your fate. The only expectations that matter are your own. In the hustle and bustle of life, especially in business or networking, it's easy to confuse connections with relationships. But let me tell you something important: connections are temporary, but relationships are lasting. A connection might come from a quick introduction or a surface-level exchange of business cards, but a true relationship is built over time through trust, respect, and mutual growth. Too many people focus solely on expanding their list of contacts, thinking that the more people they know, the more successful they'll be. But here's the reality: it's not about the quantity of people you know, it's about the depth of the relationships you build. A person with a few strong relationships has far more influence, more opportunities, and more lasting success than someone with hundreds of shallow connections. When you focus on building relationships, you're focusing on the long game. You're investing in people, not just trying to gain something from them. Relationships are built on a foundation of trust, consistency, and genuine care for others. You're not looking to simply exchange favors or collect people who can help you climb the ladder. Instead, you're focused on understanding their needs, supporting their growth, and offering value in ways that go beyond the immediate transaction. True relationships don't begin and end with an agenda. They thrive because both parties are committed to mutual growth, and both are there to offer support without expecting something in return. You see, relationships take time. They require effort. They require showing up for others when it's hard, and being a source of encouragement even when there's nothing in it for you. And the beauty of investing in relationships is that over time, these connections become powerful alliances filled with respect, trust, and the kind of influence that no simple transaction can provide. Here's the thing: when you help others without expecting something in return, you create an environment where genuine relationships can grow. People will begin to trust you because you're not just interested in what they can do for you, you're interested in them as a person. When you offer value and build trust, opportunities will follow naturally. It may not happen overnight, but the return on investing in real relationships is far more rewarding than anything you can get from a fleeting connection. The key is to be patient and be present. Don't rush the process. Take the time to truly understand people, to get to know them beyond the surface. Ask questions, listen deeply, and find ways to help them on their journey. When you do that, you create an environment where lasting relationships are formed. And over time, those relationships will open doors that you never could have predicted. So instead of focusing on how many people you can add to your contact list, Shift your focus to how many genuine, meaningful relationships you can build. The world doesn't need more superficial connections. It needs more people who are willing to invest in others, who are ready to give before they take, and who understand that the real value comes not from who you know, but from how deeply you've connected with the people in your life. Build relationships that matter, and the success you seek will follow, not just in terms of business, but in the fulfillment that comes from knowing you've made a positive, lasting impact on the lives of others. In life, one of the most limiting things you can do is tie your worth to your job description. Your job is just a small part of who you are, but far too many people fall into the trap of believing that what they do defines their entire identity. The truth is, your value isn't found in a job title, but in who you are as a person and what you bring to the table beyond your occupation. You see, too often we get caught up in titles and positions. We believe that if we don't have a certain job or a certain title, we're somehow less important or less capable. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your value is not determined by what you do for a paycheck. It's found in the way you show up every day, in your integrity, in your work ethic, and in the positive impact you make on others. The most successful people in the world are not defined by their job descriptions. They are defined by their mindset, their determination, and their ability to constantly grow and add value regardless of their role. Think about it. Is Steve Jobs' value defined by his title at Apple? Or is it defined by the vision he had, the innovation he created, and the way he changed the world? Is Oprah's value tied to her position in media? Or is it found in her ability to connect with people, inspire others, and use her platform for good? These individuals understood that their true worth went far beyond their titles. Here's the key: your job is not your purpose. Your purpose is found in what drives you, what excites you, and what you do to make a difference in the lives of others. Whether you're in a leadership role, working in a team, or just starting out in your career, your purpose is never limited by a job description. It's the impact you have, the relationships you build, and the work you do with passion and dedication that defines your value. The moment you realize that your worth isn't tied to your job description, you free yourself from the pressure of constantly seeking approval or validation based on your title. Instead, you focus on the bigger picture. What kind of person do you want to be? How can you use your talents and skills to contribute to the world? How can you make a positive difference regardless of the job you have? The most fulfilling careers come from those who understand that success isn't about climbing the corporate ladder or achieving a specific title. It's about doing work that aligns with your values, building meaningful relationships, and creating impact in whatever role you find yourself in. You can be in any position and still bring value. You can be in any job and still be a leader. You can be in any circumstance and still have the power to make a difference. Never let a job description confine you. You are far more than a role or a title. Your value is rooted in your character, your contributions, and your ability to grow, adapt, and add value to the lives of those around you. Focus on expanding yourself, not just your resume, and the world will see the true worth that you bring to the table. In life, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is the element of surprise. Far too often, people are quick to reveal everything about themselves, their plans, and their abilities, thinking that transparency is the best approach. But let me tell you something important. There's real power in keeping people guessing. When you hold back a little, when you leave others in anticipation of what you're capable of, you create an aura of intrigue and excitement that makes everything you do that much more impactful. You've probably heard the saying, don't show all your cards, there's wisdom in that. When you give everything away up front, when you tell people exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, you lose the chance to impress, to captivate, and to keep others on their toes. You make it too easy for them to predict your next move. But when you hold back just a little, when you leave room for people to wonder about your next step, you create an environment where they're eager to see what comes next. This isn't about being deceptive, it's about recognizing the value of timing, mystery, and anticipation. Think about the people who have really impressed you in your life. They didn't tell you everything they were capable of right away. Instead, they demonstrated their skills in surprising, unexpected ways. They didn't say, here's everything I can do. They simply showed up and delivered results that left you in awe. Whether it was a business deal, a creative project, or a personal interaction, they had a way of making things happen that kept you wondering, how did they do that? That's the power of surprise. When you allow the element of surprise to work for you, it can create a sense of excitement and wonder around what you do. People start paying attention not just to what you say, but to what you actually do. They start to wonder about your potential. And when you finally reveal it, it hits harder and makes a bigger impact. When you save some of your talents, your ideas, and your innovations for the right moment, they become that much more powerful. This approach doesn't just apply to work, it applies to life. When you withhold a little bit of yourself, when you keep others guessing about what you might do next, you maintain a certain mystery that makes people more interested in you. You don't have to tell everyone all your plans, all your thoughts, or all your goals. Let them see your vision unfold slowly. Let them be impressed by what you achieve without giving away every detail. The real beauty of surprise is that it keeps people engaged. When others don't know exactly what to expect from you, they begin to pay closer attention. They want to see what you'll do next. It sparks curiosity. It opens the door to endless possibilities. And it keeps you in control of how and when you reveal your greatness. Don't feel the need to prove yourself all at once. Give yourself the space to unfold in a way that surprises and delights those around you. This doesn't mean playing games. It means allowing your actions to speak louder than your words, letting them evolve in ways that others didn't expect. The more you keep the power of surprise in your life, the more impact you'll have and the more memorable you'll become. So remember this, the element of surprise isn't about being elusive, it's about timing. It's about knowing that when you reveal your best, it will be that much more meaningful because you've allowed the moment to arrive at just the right time. Keep a little mystery in your life and let the results speak for themselves. When you do, you'll find that the world begins to respond to you in ways you never anticipated. Your job is just a small chapter in your larger story. Too often, people get caught up in thinking that their entire life's narrative is defined by their job, their title, or the position they hold. But let me tell you something crucial. Your story is far bigger than your job. Your job is one piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole picture. What you do in your career is just one aspect of your journey. It's the journey itself that defines you. Consider this, there are many people who have had incredible jobs but felt unfulfilled. Why? Because they understood deep down that a job title or a paycheck alone doesn't capture the essence of who they are. It's what they do outside of work, how they treat others, what they stand for, and how they continue to grow that shapes their story. A title may tell people what you do, but it doesn't tell them who you are, what you've learned, or where you're going. Your story is built on your experiences, your challenges, your growth, and the impact you make along the way. It's about the relationships you nurture, the lessons you learn, and the way you overcome adversity. And those are the things that matter because they shape the person you become, not just the role you play. When you focus only on the job you have right now, you risk missing out on the richness of your true story. Think about the great leaders, innovators, and visionaries. Did their story begin and end with their job? No. They were far more than what their job title suggested. What made their stories impactful was the way they lived their lives, how they handled setbacks, how they made a difference in the lives of others, and how they grew from their experiences. Your life is not a job description, it's a series of events, decisions, and moments that build on one another. And here's the truth, the job you have today doesn't limit what you can become tomorrow. You're constantly evolving, learning, and expanding. No matter what your current job title is, your potential to make a difference and create a meaningful legacy extends far beyond that. Imagine looking at your life as a book, and each chapter represents a different phase. Your job may be one of those chapters, but it's just a part of a much larger story. Some chapters will be about success, others about failure, some about growth, and others about relationships. But none of them will define the whole of who you are. You're writing your own narrative, and the beauty of it is that you have the power to shape where it goes next. The key is not to let your job define you, but rather to let your values, your passions, your purpose, and your character guide the way. Your story is bigger than any role you fill or any title you hold. It's about who you are when the doors close, when no one is watching, and when you're faced with challenges that have nothing to do with your job. It's about what you contribute to the world and the legacy you leave behind. So don't let the world reduce you to your job description. You are so much more than that. Your story is unfolding with every decision you make, every person you meet, and every action you take. And when you begin to see your story as a continuous, evolving journey, one that's not defined by your job, you'll find greater fulfillment, greater freedom, and greater opportunity to truly live a life that's bigger than anything a title could ever capture.